So before we get started, I want you to first make sure you are safe, secure, grounded. You have sacred space where you feel all of those things. You're able to be vulnerable with yourself, and you are able to either call upon somebody who you trust, who you feel secure and confident with, or you have a professional that you can go to if things start to present themselves or come up during the shadow work that you're going to be doing. So the first thing that you should do is identify your triggers. I talked about this in another video. Again, please check out my channel in the show notes and you'll have a link to that. Triggers is where you figure out what causes you to feel defensive, what causes you to feel unsafe, like someone's crossing a boundary, angry maybe even, sad. These are all really important because you need to figure out first where you're at in your own healing process. After you've done those things, I would personally figure out what my family tree represents to me. Meaning, what does it look like for you? Parents, caregivers, again, we talked about attachment styles on Love Breezy Bree. Understanding what your attachment style could be really helpful in identifying your caregivers, your parents, whoever raised you, and how the relationship was built between you and that person or persons, as well as did you move around a lot? Did you have a lot of interesting experiences that were helpful? Did you have ones that feel like they lowered your vibration? Really dissecting all of that. I like to do this stuff with journal prompts. Just simple questions like, how do I feel about my family tree, in particular, my grandparents? And then just write whatever comes to mind. No judgment, no one's going to read it. You don't have to be PC. You don't have to feel like you are dishonoring your family by speaking your truth. You're just processing information. You're just collecting data. This isn't meant to be at all something that you need to feel bad about or guilty about or shameful about. Everything that you discover in your shadow, which rather that's your dark side of your shadow or just your shadow where things are hidden or things that you don't even remember that are going to start to kind of come up, you need to remember that none of it is your fault. Okay? Even if in some cases you had ill intentions or you were maybe accidentally toxic or an energy vampire to someone else and that comes up in your work, you are doing the work now and you need to forgive yourself. Okay? If forgiving yourself means you have to also apologize, then honor that. Now, as far as things that have happened to you, which is usually the stuff that causes a lot of triggers and trauma to show up, that is where you really need to have compassion for yourself. You can write yourself a letter, your younger self. You can congratulate yourself on who you've become and constantly give gratitude for where you're at today. Never make a permanent decision about how you feel based on your emotions. So it's always important to process your thoughts, but also take time and space away from them if it feels like it's too heavy. Now, when in doubt, you can always seek attention from crisis counselors. Myself, I work as a sexual abuse advocate. That is my job, to help you process some of this information. Or you can seek help from a psychotherapist or other therapists or people who work in therapeutics. Or you can just start to lean in on people who are grounding and always there in a safe place for you. So that is where I would begin. Journaling, figuring out what my triggers are, looking at my family tree. Being a scientist, collecting data, not analyzing it yet, not just, it's really important that you do not judge yourself. You do not judge your parents. You do not judge your grandparents. You do not judge your ancestors. You just recognize that this is where you're from. And it doesn't mean that it's bad, okay? It just means that it is your truth. What you do from this day forward is your legacy. You're writing your own book. You are the star in your own movie. We all of us, on the collective and individually, have gone through trauma. We all have something that we've once been ashamed about, that we feel guilty about, and rather those feelings are true or false, we are able to reconcile that they're just feelings. They're just feelings. So I hope that this starts to get you thinking, but be kind and gentle with the process. It's a practice, it's a lifelong practice, and there's so much more that you can get to if you can just get to that other side from surviving to thriving. All of us need to do the work, and we need to constantly revisit to make sure things aren't getting tucked away and not going beneath and under and over, and we bring it out into light. One of the quotes that I love the most, and I'll leave us with this, is the light will always surpass the darkness. When we say namaste in yoga, we are essentially saying the light in me, the spirit in me, the human in me honors and sees and recognizes the light, the spirit, the human in you. So with that, go in peace. Namaste.